What if everything you thought was a delay was actually preparation? What if the silence, the waiting, the closed doors, and the long nights were not signs of abandonment, but evidence of protection? There are moments in life when it feels like you are behind, overlooked, or somehow forgotten. But what if your future has already been safeguarded in ways you cannot yet see? Think about the times when you worried about money, opportunities, or stability. The times you questioned whether your efforts would ever pay off. The fear that maybe you were working hard for nothing. Yet somehow, at the last moment, something shifted. A new idea appeared. An unexpected connection formed. A door opened just wide enough for you to step through. Was it coincidence? Or was it alignment? Many people live as if they are surviving day to day. But some individuals sense something different. They feel that their journey is not random, that even in struggle, there is direction. Not special in a superior sense, but set apart by responsibility. If you feel that pull, that inner conviction that your story carries weight, then this message is for you. Funding is not always financial. Provision is not always material. Sometimes it comes as resilience when you thought you would break. Sometimes it comes as clarity when confusion surrounds you. Sometimes it arrives as discipline, focus, and the ability to endure when others quit. Could it be that the resources you truly need are already being developed within you? Consider this: before a structure rises above the ground, its foundation is laid deep beneath the surface. Nobody applauds the foundation. Nobody sees the hours of digging, the reinforcement, the concrete settling in silence. Yet without it, nothing stands. What if your current season is that foundation? What if what feels invisible now is actually securing your future? You may look at others and think they are ahead. You may compare timelines, achievements, and lifestyles. But comparison blinds you to your own preparation. Every person's path unfolds differently. Some receive visibility early, but struggle to sustain it. Others build quietly for years and then rise with stability that cannot easily be shaken. Which would you rather have? There is also another truth many avoid. Growth requires stretching. Expansion requires discomfort. If your future demands strength, integrity, wisdom, and emotional control, then those qualities must be forged somewhere. They are not handed out casually. They are cultivated through challenge. Ask yourself, have your past hardships strengthened you? Have your disappointments sharpened your discernment? Have your failures taught you discipline? If the answer is yes, then you are not empty-handed. You are being equipped. Your future is not merely about wealth or status. It is about capacity. The capacity to manage influence. The capacity to handle responsibility. The capacity to remain grounded when success arrives. Perhaps what feels like delay is actually protection from receiving something too early. What if, right now, unseen processes are aligning? What if doors are being arranged in ways you cannot measure? Instead of asking why nothing is happening, maybe the better question is this: what is being built within me while I wait? There is a difference between wishing for a better future and being prepared to sustain it. Many people ask for elevation, yet few consider the weight that comes with it. Influence requires accountability. Resources demand discipline. Opportunity tests character. If your path is meant to expand, then preparation cannot be optional. Look back at your life carefully. Notice the patterns. Notice how certain relationships ended when they no longer aligned with your growth. Notice how some plans failed despite your effort. At the time, it may have felt unfair. You may have questioned why things were taken away. But what if those removals were necessary? What if certain attachments would have limited the scale of your future. Sometimes protection does not look like gain, it looks like loss. A missed opportunity can redirect you toward something better suited to your abilities. A rejection can force you to refine your skills. A period of financial pressure can teach you management and restraint. In moments of struggle, you are being trained to handle abundance responsibly. Have you ever noticed how pressure reveals what is inside a person? When circumstances tighten, patience either strengthens or breaks. Integrity either holds or collapses. Focus either sharpens or disappears. These tests are not random. They expose the areas that need reinforcement. If your future includes leadership in any form, even leadership over your own life, then these qualities must be solid. There is also the unseen aspect of timing. You might believe you are ready today. You might feel capable and eager. But readiness is more than desire. It is alignment between skill, character, opportunity, and maturity. When those elements come together, progress feels natural rather than forced. Consider how often people rush into success only to be overwhelmed by it. Without emotional balance, wealth becomes stress. Without humility, recognition becomes arrogance. Without wisdom, opportunity becomes risk. If your journey has included seasons of quiet development, perhaps it is because sustainability matters more than speed. Think about the concept of provision beyond money. Provision can be ideas that set you apart. It can be mentors who appear at the right moment. It can be habits that strengthen your daily routine. It can be courage that pushes you to act when fear tries to paralyze you. These are forms of funding that cannot be seen on a bank statement, yet they determine long-term outcomes. Ask yourself honestly, if everything you desire arrived tomorrow, would you manage it well? Would you protect it? Would you use it responsibly? Or would it overwhelm you? The honest answer to that question reveals why your present season matters so much. There is a quiet confidence that grows when you understand this process. Instead of panicking about what you lack, you begin to focus on what you are building. Instead of resenting delays, you start to value preparation. Instead of chasing every opportunity, you become selective, knowing that not every open door is meant for you. Your future is not fragile. It does not depend solely on luck or external validation. It depends on who you are becoming. And if you are being shaped with care, then perhaps the real evidence that your future has been safeguarded is not found outside of you, but within you. There is a moment in every transformative journey when doubt becomes louder than hope. You begin to question whether all the preparation, the patience, and the quiet endurance are truly leading somewhere. You wonder if you misunderstood your path, if you overestimated your potential, if maybe you were never meant for something greater after all. But what if doubt itself is part of the refinement? When uncertainty appears, it forces you to confront your motives. Are you pursuing growth for recognition or for responsibility? Are you seeking success to impress others or to fulfill a meaningful purpose? These questions are uncomfortable, yet they clarify intention. And intention shapes outcomes more than we realize. There are people who rise quickly because circumstances favor them. And there are others who rise steadily because their internal structure is strong. The difference often becomes visible over time. Quick elevation without depth can collapse under pressure. Slow, intentional growth tends to endure. So when your progress feels measured rather than dramatic, it may not be weakness. It may be stability forming. Consider how resilience is developed. It is not built in comfort. It is built when plans fall apart and you are forced to adapt. It is built when criticism challenges your confidence and you must choose self-awareness over defensiveness. It is built when no one is watching and you continue anyway. These are invisible investments into your future capacity. Have you noticed how your perspective has changed over the years? Situations that once overwhelmed you now feel manageable. Decisions that once confused you now seem clearer. Reactions that once controlled you are now more measured. This is growth. This is internal funding. This is preparation taking shape. There is also something powerful about delayed gratification. When you work towards something over time, you develop respect for it. You understand its value. You are less likely to waste it. Contrast that with instant success, which can sometimes be taken for granted. The journey teaches appreciation, and appreciation strengthens stewardship. Another important reality is alignment with your environment. Not every space is meant to host your growth. Sometimes you must outgrow certain circles, habits, or mindsets before stepping into larger arenas. This process can feel isolating. You may feel misunderstood or ahead of your surroundings. Yet isolation often sharpens focus. It reduces distraction. It clarifies vision. Ask yourself this: are you reacting to life, or are you responding intentionally? Reacting is impulsive. Responding is strategic. When you begin to respond thoughtfully, you demonstrate readiness for greater responsibility, and readiness attracts opportunity in ways that panic never could. It is easy to measure progress by visible milestones, income, titles, public acknowledgement, but the most important progress is internal: emotional regulation, discipline, ethical consistency, clarity of values. These qualities determine how long success lasts once it arrives. If your path feels deliberate rather than rushed, perhaps that is the point. If your opportunities feel carefully timed rather than random, perhaps that timing is intentional. Your future may not look dramatic yet, but depth is forming beneath the surface. The real question is not whether your future has been secured. The real question is whether you are becoming the kind of person who can carry it wisely when it fully unfolds. At some point, the weighting shifts. The uncertainty begins to feel different, not because every problem disappears, but because your mindset changes. You stop chasing validation. You stop measuring yourself against timelines that were never yours. Instead, you begin to recognize something powerful. You are no longer the person who first started this journey. Think about the version of you from a few years ago. The fears were louder. The confidence was fragile. The direction was unclear. Now, even if you are still building, there is more awareness, more composure, more discernment. That transformation did not happen by accident. It was shaped through experience, reflection, and persistence. When people speak about their future being secured, they often imagine external guarantees. But life rarely offers visible assurances. What it does offer are patterns. Growth follows effort. Discipline strengthens outcomes. Ethical decisions build trust. Consistency creates momentum. These patterns are reliable. When you commit to them, you are participating in the construction of your own stability. There is also a shift that happens when you stop operating from scarcity. Scarcity says there is never enough time, never enough opportunity, never enough success to go around. It creates urgency rooted in fear. But when you understand that your path unfolds according to preparation and alignment, urgency becomes focused rather than frantic. You move with intention instead of desperation. Ask yourself what would change if you truly believed your future was not fragile. Would you take more thoughtful risks? Would you invest more in learning? Would you treat people with greater integrity, Knowing that reputation compounds over time, confidence rooted in preparation is different from arrogance. It is quiet. It is steady. It does not need constant proof. Another important realization is that growth is ongoing. Securing your future does not mean reaching a final destination. It means building systems within your life that sustain progress. Habits that support your goals. Boundaries that protect your energy. Values that guide your decisions when pressure rises. These systems become your foundation. You may not see the full picture yet. Few people ever do. But clarity often comes step by step. When you handle your current responsibilities with excellence, new responsibilities become manageable. When you respect small opportunities, larger ones feel natural rather than overwhelming. Momentum builds quietly before it becomes visible. There will still be challenges. There will still be moments of doubt. Yet now, those moments do not define you. They refine you. They remind you of how far you have already come. They strengthen your resolve rather than weaken it. So instead of asking when everything will finally arrive, consider asking a different question: who am I becoming through this process? Because ultimately, your future is carried by your character. It is sustained by your discipline. It is protected by your integrity. If you continue building wisely, learning consistently, and acting responsibly, you are not simply hoping for a better tomorrow. You are actively shaping it, and when the visible rewards eventually align with the internal growth you have cultivated, you will recognize something profound. The preparation was never wasted. The delays were never empty. The foundation was being laid all along. There is one final shift that separates those who constantly worry about their future from those who walk forward with quiet certainty. It is the shift from fear to trust in process. Not blind optimism, not passive waiting, but disciplined trust built on action, reflection, and growth. You begin to understand that nothing meaningful in your life has come without effort. Every improvement required intention. Every breakthrough required persistence. And if that pattern has held true before, why would it suddenly stop now? When you recognize this, you stop interpreting every obstacle as a threat. Instead, you see it as information, a lesson, a redirection. Consider how often setbacks forced you to become more creative. When resources were limited, you learned efficiency. When support was minimal, you developed independence. When outcomes were uncertain, you strengthened patience. These were not random experiences. They were shaping tools. They expanded your capacity. Capacity is everything. It determines how much responsibility you can carry without collapsing. It determines how much influence you can handle without losing balance. It determines how much success you can sustain without compromising your principles. If your capacity has been increasing, then your future potential has been increasing with it. Many people underestimate the power of consistent daily action. They wait for dramatic signs or sudden transformation. But real security is built in ordinary moments. The early mornings when you choose discipline over comfort. The difficult conversations where you choose honesty over avoidance. The quiet evenings where you choose learning over distraction. These decisions compound. Ask yourself honestly, are your daily habits aligned with the future you claim to desire? If the answer is yes, then you have evidence that progress is happening, even if results are not yet visible. If the answer is no, then you have clarity about what needs to change. Either way, awareness empowers you. Another truth is that comparison distorts perception. You see someone else's highlight and assume their journey was smooth. You compare your behind the scenes struggle to their visible success. But every meaningful achievement carries unseen preparation. The difference is that you are aware of your own challenges, while others' challenges remain hidden. When you stop comparing and start concentrating, your energy becomes focused. Focus builds mastery. Mastery builds confidence. Confidence built on competence is stable. It does not shake easily because it is rooted in real effort. Your future does not require perfection. It requires persistence. It does not demand that you know every step in advance. It requires that you take the next step responsibly. Each responsible decision is a brick. Each disciplined day is reinforcement. Over time, those bricks form something solid. So, if you have been questioning whether your efforts matter, whether your patience is wasted, whether your quiet growth is leading anywhere, remember this: preparation is never empty. Development is never accidental. Character built under pressure is rarely fragile. Keep building, keep refining. Keep aligning your actions with your values. Because when preparation meets opportunity, it does not feel like luck. It feels earned. And when that moment arrives, you will realize that your future was never hanging by a thread. It was being strengthened, one deliberate step at a time.